Question was asked, how do you solve 6a squared plus 19a minus 7 equals to 0? To factor, you would take your first term and your last term, and we're doing this because there's a number in front of your a squared, so you're taking your first term and your last term, multiply them, and then find two factors of that make your center term when you combine them. So what are two factors of negative 42a squared that when combined make positive 19a? Well, the possibilities are 142, 221, 3, 14, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So two factors of negative 42, so one has to be positive, one has to be negative, when combined make a positive 19. So I'm picking 2 and 21 and making the 2 negative. Now remember to combine it with the a. Because you multiplied them, you want two factors of negative 42a squared, so each one has to have an a. Now rewrite your first term and your last term with negative 2a and 21a in the center. So you have 6a squared minus 2a plus 21a minus 7 equals to 0. You now have 4 terms equal to 0. Now when you have 4 terms, you have to factor by grouping. Okay? To factor by grouping, the first two terms have what in common? 2a. And the last two terms have what in common? Plus 7. And what do these have in common? Your 3x minus 1. Now you have it factored equal to 0, so set each factor equal to 0 and solve. Oops, these are all a's. Dang, how did I do that? So the main thing to get from this is you had a number in front of your a squared. So if you're deciding to choose factoring to solve for this, I would have chose quadratic formula just because I don't really like to factor when there's a number in front of a squared. But if you are factoring with a number in front of a squared, take your first term, your last term, multiply them. Then you're going to find two factors of that when combined make your middle term here. And since this was negative, we found the difference. If this was a positive, we would have added them. So we found 2 and 21 make a difference of 19. So our negative went on the negative 2 because we want a positive 19. And then we had 4 terms equal to 0, so factor by grouping. Now, if for some reason when you did factor by grouping and the center inside these parentheses weren't the same, you would have switched the order of these, keeping the sign, so it would have been like plus 21a minus 2a, and then factored that way. Now we have a is equal to 1/3 and a is equal to negative 7 over, not an a, 2. You can either write it like this on the answer line, or just 1/3 negative 7 over 2 on the answer line. This is not a point, so do not put parentheses. It's just 1/3 and negative 7 over 2, because these are both a's. Alright, as always, if you have a question, just send me an email, and if I need to, I'll make a video.